What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is kind of the extended edition of San Diego Comic-Con. Gotta love them movies! Alright guys, I would like to present to you the co-host of Tonight in San Diego, Keith Foster, and his beautiful wife, Dr. Ashley Lawrence!
Hi!
What's going on, guys?
Not much. It's pretty beautiful here in San Diego.
San Diego was gorgeous. It was really hot, by the way.
Yes.
It was. Unseasonably hot.
So, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to talk about. You guys had the privilege of attending Sausage Party with Seth Rogen, the film, in a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive panel screening?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a panel, a party, a screening, and then another post-movie panel. It was a long night.
It was a lot of sausage.
So what did they talk about during the panel?
Well, they talked about making the movie. They talked about how long it took. Apparently, they've been working on this movie for 8 years.
Whoa!
So the idea kind of predates a lot of the movies that we know Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg for.
So you previously said something about the use of Disney animators in this and how they possibly went too far.
So actually, the animators they got to do the true animation is Thomas the Train, the beloved children's show. So it's pretty great to see that juxtaposition of them. But for Disney aspect, they got
Alan Menken.
Alan Menken to do the music. So there's a big opening number, and Alan Menken loved it so much he asked him if he could just score the whole movie.
Yeah, but apparently, even though it was a hard time to find a studio to sign off on it, it was not difficult to find animators at all. Because according to Seth Rogen, all animators are perverts and weirdos and have been dying to, do an adult comedy, like an adult animation. And he's like, they've been sneaking it into Disney movies for years, and finally they had a chance to just really unleash.
Oh, that's incredible. And did they take it too far, in your opinion?
Here's the thing. As an experiment in how far you can push a cartoon, I think they went for it. They absolutely push the envelope. So in that aspect, I think the movie was absolutely a success. Is it the most straightforward story and plot? Not really. That aspect probably could have been better. But for really doing what they wanted to do to push it and create this adult comedy, they threw it all in there.
So let's talk about the story of the movie just a little bit. Based on the trailer, I know that it's a group of hot dogs and buns or wieners or sausages or whatever you want to call them that get selected to leave the grocery store as people
Right.
buy
So
groceries.
the basic plot is everything takes place in this grocery store.
Yeah.
And the overall tone sort of has this religion aspect of being chosen and going to the promised land. And so it opens up with them singing the song about they can't wait to meet their gods, which is humans who select them to take them out of the grocery store to the promised land.
Yeah. So I mean, at the start of the film, it's very much hopeful and optimistic and all. It's very satirical, like a lot of religious satire.
Sure. So the film is has a lot of religious overtones?
Yeah, actually, that sort of surprised me because I didn't expect that. That's one thing the trailer doesn't really illustrate.
It's if somebody was into creationism, then throughout the movie turns atheist,
Kind of.
and then back to Christian, sort of.
And and they also have there's a very Jewish stereotype, a very
What, in a Seth
Israeli
Rogen, Evan Goldberg production?
yeah, yeah. And there's sort of like a microcosm of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the movie.
What?
Yeah. Also, not what I expected when I went to go see Sausage Party. I just expected, sausage jokes.
Yeah.
So there's more substance to this film than actual like dick and fart jokes.
Well, there's plenty of dick and fart jokes too, but I mean, I do think it's cool that they wanted to put a little more in there, like they wanted to try and say something, and I do think some of that message does get a little subverted by the dick and fart jokes.
I mean, for instance, the villain is a douche, like a literal vaginal douche, played by Nick Kroll.
Ew.
Yeah, it's super gross, but also really funny.
Yeah.
And the great thing in the panel, what we learned was originally Nick Kroll's character was supposed to be a British villain and not a douche at all. And so when they watched the film with the recording, they didn't like it, so they just completely changed his villain character to a douche.
To more of a bro type, stereotypical douche.
So if you were concerned about content before, now you know.
Oh, that is the tip of the iceberg. That there's so much that we're not going to tell you about because we don't want to spoil the surprise.
All right, so let's kind of grade this movie in a sense. So let's break down the acting. If you had to give the acting some kind of a score, how would you rate everyone? It's voice acting, I guess, and animation, direction, but still.
I mean, there's a lot of celebrities playing the roles, and a lot of them were unrecognizable to me, because you see the trailer and you see all those names pop up, like Edward Norton, Ant-Man. Ant-Man? Who plays Ant-Man?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd has a small... But to me, they're unrecognizable. Seth Rogen is very Seth Rogen, but...
Kristen Wiig, you can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly Nick Kroll, because...
It's kind of a character he's been playing for years. Sort of like his Bobby Bottle Service character. So they were sort of familiar, and then there was a lot of, cameo voices and side characters that, like I said, I had no idea who was playing who.
Salma Hayek is in this film.
Yeah.
That surprises me. I don't know
think
why
it's
that
very
surprises
beyond
me,
her
but
spectrum, but it saw her do
going
some
from
interesting
Wild
stuff.
Wild West to Sausage Party.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pick a number out of 20. Where would you put at?
I'd say an 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
really impressed. Everyone
Wow.
was very committed to their parts.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think nobody's jokes dropped for me.
Yeah.
They all hit pretty solid, and I laughed throughout the whole film, which is pretty solid for me. I'd agree 18.
even people that were playing more their type were playing it really at their game. They weren't phoning anything in.
So let's go to directing. Ashley, if you had to focus on the direction of this film, like art design, pacing, stuff like that, where would you rate this sucker?
Direction wise, I think I would probably give it a lower score of maybe 14. Only because I feel like they lost some opportunities with the opening and the end of the movie. I think there was some great jokes that could have been had that were there and except for them, but they went a different direction. And that, for me, I was a little saddened by. But overall, the movie was still great. I still enjoyed it. But, for instance, I think the juxtaposition of them opening the scene and everyone's happy, and then later, as you can see in the previews where they realize the awful truth of what humans really are, could have been more, Disney-like and more, because they start off swearing right away. So I think I would have liked it if they weren't swearing and
Kind of a
way
slower
more Disney
build.
princess with Tweety birds. Then that juxtaposition of this is an adult movie and this is now sort of a horror film-ish, and then back into the comedy.
See, I'm a little torn on this because on some aspects the directing was great because for a lot of it, they really nail like the animation style. They really nail that sort of Toy Story parody. But I do agree with Ashley in that I think there were some moments at the end that could have been tightened up and some moments at the beginning that could have been better. But also, like, just the design of the grocery store. Like, they did talk about how much detail went into designing all the logos for all these different grocery products and how there's so many little jokes in all of those, even. What did you give it?
I give it a 14 to 15. Like 14.5.
Okay, yeah. 14.5.
All right. Which actually leads into the next portion of the writing. Like, how was the script? How was the overall story? Did it work? Did it not work? Was there anything story-wise that you think you changed? Or the dialogue, even?
Again, this is kind of hard because the dialogue was really funny. The jokes were really funny. But I think the ending left me a little disappointed. The ending kind of takes a weird turn, and I think they could have been more on parody with the ending. And I think they sort of built a better ending into the movie that they don't do.
With that said, there is a great scene before the ending.
Yes.
That was clearly Seth Rogen saying, I want to see this happen with some animated characters. So,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
like, doesn't help the plot, I think, at all, or anything. It was just, it's just there.
So if we could slap a number on writing, on the writing portion, on the script.
This is so hard because there are parts that are so great.
Yeah.
And then there are
Kinda
parts
goes
that
up
are
and
so
down.
weak.
Yeah.
To me, I think the writing was sort of the weakest part. So personally, I'd probably give it a lower score, closer to like a 12 or a 13.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I would go back to 14.
Sure.
Just because there was some really great jokes.
We'll hover in the middle and say 13.
13. All right.
So to recap, we've got an 18 for acting. We've got let's just say 14 for sake of math for directing. We've got a 13 for writing. What about fun? How fun was it?
20.
Did you come
Yeah,
out
20.
20?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. We're watching it in a Comic-Con sneak screening with the writer, director, stars. There was press there. Like, it could not have been a better audience to see that movie with.
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone was laughing at all the jokes at the right places. No one was, during the film, just the audience experience added so much to the movie itself. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Really
All right.
fun.
Well, what's the overall takeaway? What can we learn from this film? You hinted earlier a little bit of like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but what other things can we learn or take away from this movie?
I think that its main moral, like if it has a moral, is that you can't force people to believe something if they have a true belief in it. So like Christianity, faith underlying feeling, like where a character tries to go in and be like, why can't you see it? Well, I have evidence, and the other characters don't want to believe it, even if they've seen the evidence. And so it's sort of that, like, you can't force people to believe something that they really hold true to themselves.
I think it finds a place of like a mutual respect, because the characters that want to believe, like, you totally see why, like, you totally get why they want to believe this, and I think in a way that's not disrespectful.
Yeah, I think those coexist bumper stickers.
Yeah,
I think that pretty much sums up what this movie is trying to say. It's just trying to coexist together without fighting.
I think beyond just story, this movie, kind of like Deadpool, is going to be like a testing ground for if audiences want this kind of adult cartoon. So I hope this movie does well, and just for sheer ballsiness and fun and enjoyment, I'd probably give it 17.
All right, guys. So you gave this movie an overall score, adding up all the tallies, of an 82. 82 out of 100. That's like a B plus, B minus. It's a B, somewhere in through there.
That's actually exactly what I thought it was when I just gave it a straight letter grade. It was about B.
Really? So we're right on the money. So this is an above average film.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think if people see it and they love it or hate it, they will remember it.
Yes, they won't forget that scene.
It's gonna be I think sort of a watermark movie. Watership Down.
Yes.
I don't know what you're saying.
Well, Keith and Ashley, thank you so much for joining me on Gotta Love the Movies. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the film. I'm so glad that I got to experience the film through your eyes. I can't wait to actually go see it now in theaters. Any last thoughts before you go?
Don't take your mom.
Yeah, don't take a mom, don't take a date. Only take people you're comfortable with, and
No coworkers.
Yeah, and get some hot dogs before the film.
So guys, what did you think of Sausage Party? Did you see it? Did you not see it? Are you excited to see it? I want to know in the comment section below. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at GLT Movies. Don't forget to click like if you like this video, obviously. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that's what Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg would want you to do. Keith and Ashley, where can people find you on Twitter?
At Keith Foster Kid.
And at lay_chat_noir. So it's just the black
As
cat.
it's currently laid out on the screen.
You can check out more of me at Tonight in San Diego, www.tonightinsandiego.com. It's the local version of Jimmy Fallon or Conan O'Brien with a very specific San Diego audience. You can also follow Tonight in San Diego on Twitter and Facebook.
Do it. Even if you don't live in San Diego, do it. Ashley?
You can tweet at me your medical questions.
Yes, medical questions! Because you're a doctor. All right, movie lovers, I'm out of here.
Bye.